Okay, so lately I've been obsessed with Poppy Playtime. Just finished chapter 4, super excited. So of course I went out and ordered the official Poppy Playtime Smiling Critters from the official website. These are the 14-inch ones, so they've got the zips at the front. As you can see, I got Bobby Bear Hug, Crafty Corn, and Hoppy Hopscotch. And I'm so glad I got these ones because there's so many options with these plushies, and even though these ones are more expensive, they really do look on point, especially from the characters from chapter 4. They look really good. Anyway, so here's a brief look at what they all look like opened up, and then I'm going to get into customizing them. So I did get this idea from someone else. It is not an original idea. I got it from Endor, I think they're called. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, on YouTube, on how to do some customizations for these, specifically on voice boxes. I wanted to add in voice boxes so that I could use the cardboard cutout voices, and I honestly think it just sets them off and makes them really on point. Like, I think the official toys already should have had a voice box in them because it just makes them so perfect. It does mean you have to cut your plushies though, so this isn't for everyone, but I could not have these plushies and not make them just a little bit better, in my opinion. Also, a note is Crafty Corn does have a loose thread there, but it is just one that they didn't snip off in crafting. It's not a fault. But the arm, look at that arm. The right arm has a seam right down the middle. It's actually been sewn on sideways. So on the left, it looks how it's supposed to. On the right, you see that seam, and it's really annoying. I can't stand it. That is the only downside with these plushies, is my Crafty Corn is a bit dodge. Anyway, that's what happened, but all the others are perfect. So what I'm going to do here is snip open Crafty Corn's belly using some nice new sharp scissors for fabric. These are embroidery scissors, so they have a really thin nose, which makes it really easy to do something really delicate like this. So once I've zipped him open, I'm going to snip him open and start taking some of the filling out. That's so that I have space to put in the voice box. Now, I've already recorded the sayings on the voice box, and my voice boxes are 30-second ones, so I can do almost all of their full slogans. There's the little voice box there. Isn't it cute? And it's heart-shaped, which is even better. Sorry if I'm giving any spoilers, but it kind of matches the Poppy Playtime theme and the Smiling Critters in general. And of course, I had to take it further. So not only did I add these in, and you can watch Endor for the full how to do your little recordings, but I had to take it further, of course. So I wanted to leave their tummies open. You could try and sew them shut, but I kind of wanted to know that I could go back in and pull that voice box out, change batteries, or whatever I wanted to do in the future. So I wanted to leave him open. Also, you'd always see the stitch marks anyway. So instead, what I wanted to do is customize, as you can see here, with their inside foam, inside hobby feel, and some red dye to basically give them the look of having intestines or gizzards, or, you know, a little bit of some fleshy goodness on the inside, by dyeing their polyester fill, so that when you open up that zip, not only does he have a little heart, that's his voice box inside, but also it looks like he's got some kind of semi-creepy organs, which is super important. We want cute and cuddly and super creepy and gross at the same time. So I thought this just has to happen. I did want to go even further. Oh, and this idea, as far as I'm aware, is original. The voice box wasn't, but I have not seen anyone do this, so and I don't know if you can even get red hobby feel, but I happen to already have hobby feel, so I just dyed it. Basically, you just buy your polyester dye if you've got polyester fill. Follow the instructions on dyeing it. I used a pot and boiled it, basically. That was my method, and it came out really good. So you just put your water in, put your dye in. You need detergent or something, just follow the instructions. And then a thorough rinse out at the end. And then I also left it on some paper towel to make sure any red residue absorbed, so that none of it was going to go, especially if Crafty Corn is white, none of it is going to seep into my Crafty Corn. It's going to be nice and dry, and all the dye will be completely drained. So here we go. Here's what the fluffy hobby feel looks like when it becomes stuffed inside my little critter, with my little heart and looking like some kind of semi-gory intestines or gizzards or flesh or whatever. Look at him go. Stuff him in there. I found, look at it. Oh my god, it's so cute, right? I mean, maybe that's not the right word for it, but I love him. And they still are really super cuddly and fluffy, but it's got that extra little secret behind his little zip. Anyway, I followed through and did the same thing with all of them. I was also going to take this up another notch and add in some organs, some actual intestine looking organs, and maybe a little plushy bone or a plushy set of lungs. Now I might still do that in the future, but once I waited till I received the plushies, and once I received them, I realized there's not actually a lot of room in their tummies. They have a lot of stuffing in the other areas of their body as well, but most of this stuff is really just going in their stomach, and I want them to still be cuddly and squishy. And that heart voice box honestly takes up quite a bit of space in there. So I feel like I might just have to get over it and deal with just having the dyed hobby feel to give that gory extra look. But we'll see how I go. Maybe in future I will make some little prop pieces to go as well. And also, I'll let you know, when I am removing some of the original polyester fill, I also did stuff some of it up into their neck and arms, which I'll be able to show you in a minute, because it basically saved me pulling out too much of their stuffing by stuffing a little extra into their head and arms. Their legs are sewn off at the top, so you can't stuff any extra into their legs. But their arms and their head you can, which saved me taking some of it out, if that makes sense. Look at him, so cute. Look at his little guts. There he is. And last is Hobby Hopscotch. Now, Hobby Hopscotch is the only one that doesn't fit into the 30-second voice clips. Unfortunately, it's 10 seconds too long, but I still loved it. I just had to shorten it a little bit. Also, you'll notice in a minute an example of me stuffing the stuffing up into his head and arms, as I mentioned earlier, before I remove any of the stuffing. That helps keep some of the original stuffing in his body. And stuffing does get condensed in plushies over time with lots of hugging, so I think that that is a good way to keep some more in there. Also, the other thing to take notice of is when I put the heart in, I actually put it in upside down because their bodies are a little bit smaller at the top and larger at the bottom, which means the heart shape fits perfectly upside down. So that's a little extra tip as well if you're going to go for one of those heart-shaped voice boxes. The other thing to pay attention to is Crafty Corn's audio. I actually had to find, oh, and also here's Hobby Hopscotch pretending to die. I'm dead. So Crafty Corns, lots of people miss the last part of his audio because there's a bunch of screaming and static and people think it ends there. There is one more saying, if you've played the game and pressed the button again, there's one more saying where he says, much better. And it's really funny because it almost insinuates that the screaming was Crafty Corn maybe killing someone and then using their blood as red paint. It might not be, but that's the vibe I got from it. So it was very important for me to include that saying when I did Crafty Corn. And there's my finished little guys from before to after.